Welcome to NAFDAC and Your Health. I am your host, Tosin Adebayo. Here, we bring you up to date with NAFDAC's activities with regards to its mandate of safeguarding the health of the nation. We are starting today's program by reliving NAFDAC's commemoration of the 2022 World Antimicrobial Awareness Week. Antimicrobials are medicines used to prevent or treat infections caused by microorganisms in man, plants, or animals.
Antimicrobial resistance actually occurs naturally over time, usually through genetic changes. And this occurs when bacteria, fungi, viruses, and parasites change over time, and no longer respond to medicines which they were previously susceptible to. And this makes infections much harder to treat and increases the risk of disease spread, increases the severity of the illness, and of course leads to death. For instance, if somebody had a throat infection, and normally would take a particular antibiotic that had in the past cleared that infection, he now soon realizes that the infection is still there and won't go away. The microorganism may have developed resistance to that antibiotic, so the antibiotic becomes ineffective. So this is what we mean by antimicrobial resistance, AMR.
With the theme, Preventing Antimicrobial Resistance Together, the staff of the agency took the awareness campaign to agro-commodity providers and agro-vet dealers in Lagos.
Microorganisms will not grow on them. So, you may not need to use antimicrobial agent. That is one. Appropriate storage condition. The second one is to use materials the way you are to use it.
The focus of the team's sensitization is on prevention of microorganisms rather than administering curative agents which bacteria, virus, or parasite could resist.
You don't know the microbial load I'm bringing from where I'm coming from. I will shake you, I will touch your goods, touch your corn, turn everything. You are looking at me. If I come to your store and I have to touch anything, first of all, give me hand sanitizer. Let me sanitize my hand before I begin to touch all your produce. Because it's not everything I touch I will buy. Meanwhile, I have carried the microbe in my house and in my farm to come and touch it. The thing will be multiplying there, you won't know. So please, let us make sure we put biosecurity measure in place, no matter how small. If it is just sanitizer, put it in there and rub it before we continue our business. I pray God will bless our work, God will bless our trade, and I want you to please help us to pass the information on. MCSA.
As critical stakeholders in creating the necessary awareness on antimicrobial resistance, the agro-commodity and veterinary providers and dealers are appreciative of NAFDAC's sensitization program.
Sincerely, it's very, very welcome idea. Hadn't been, you are notified before now, buyers, our customer, including our supplier, to be here. So that, because we know this lesson is very important for everybody, even for our individual well-being, apart from the issue of our business. For our individual well-being is very, very okay. So it's a very welcome idea.
Dissemination of the information, I think this is a key practice of training the trainer. Now we have been trained and the information will not stop at us. We will still extend it to all the stakeholders that is connected to our business, right from our suppliers to our workers and as well as our customers.
We have talked to the stakeholders we have educated them on antimicrobial resistance. As we all know, we are marking it. It's an annual event worldwide, waging war against antimicrobial resistance. And it's very key that all the people we have talked to today, they actually key in to all the information given to them. And as they have responded, some of them are hearing it for the first time, some have heard it before, but they have understood the more today that they need to actually work against antimicrobial resistance. Because if you don't deal with it, it will actually deal with us. If you don't kill antimicrobial resistance will kill us.
There is the need to know the drivers of antimicrobial resistance.
Some of the drivers of AMR would include misuse and overuse of antimicrobial agents, especially antibiotics in humans, animals, crops, and the environment, what we normally will call irrational use of antimicrobial agents. Another driver will be poor infection prevention, and control in healthcare facilities and in the farms where these animals are kept. It will also include lack of awareness and knowledge on antibiotic resistance. And then sometimes there's absence of regulatory legislation and lack of enforcement of legislation when available. Also things like lack of access to clean water, sanitation, hygiene for people and even animals. What we normally have an acronym, WASH, W-A-S-H, water, sanitation, and hygiene.
Antimicrobial resistance can have a far-reaching effect on the society.
When there is treatment failure, because your aim of going for a treatment or medication is to get your infection treated. And if a resistance has built over time, it shows that the cost of treatment will increase because the initial cost that you should have used to treat is no longer sufficient. You may need to go to another hospital, or you may be referred to tertiary institutions or complex, treatment that you are required to undergo. So treatment failure is a major one. Prolonged hospitalization, that's a prolonged hospitalization period of a patient. Then also the effect can also be seen generally when it comes to animal. There's a loss of there's food security and food safety that is affected. Take for instance in a farm where the biosecurity is not in place. I told you one of the drivers is poor prevention of infection and control, be it in human clinic or farms. And if there's no biosecurity and the animals comes down with infection, that means you will need antibiotics to treat. And when you use these antibiotics to treat and it's not effective and the animals died, the cost to the entrepreneur or the farmer is there. The cost in terms of the availability of food to the community is there. So it's a gamut of challenges that we have, problems at our hand. So those are the effects. It affects humans, it affects animals, and then the environment also is not safe.
Next is the presentation of certificates to agro-input dealers by the Acting Director General of NAFDAC after undergoing a training put together by NAFDAC. The training, which is an offshoot of the regulator and the regulated collaboration to sanitize the agro-input sector of the country, has kicked off in the Southwest with their intention to cover every geopolitical zones of the country.
One of the requirements for listing agro-input dealers as agrochemical marketers is the need to have a technical officer with a minimum qualification of OND in a science-related course. So most of the micro agro-input dealers under the Nigerian Agro-Input Dealers Association, that's NAIDA, don't have these qualified technical officers. So this led to the organization of this training and certification to bridge the gap. The training is to be conducted nationwide, but so far only Southwest has been conducted, except for Ogun State. About 1,020 participants have been trained so far in 2021.
Director Bimab, since your training has only happened in the Southwest, you have to look critically at that.
Yes.
Do you understand? Because you can't begin to really enforce what you have not advertised. So we might have to look at that, how we would very, very quickly remedy that situation. So we want to encourage your members and those who are not to get listed through the NAFDAC offices in their respective states, and also take part in the training which should be scheduled, working collaboratively. Let me use this opportunity to appreciate CropLife and AIDA for their contributions to getting us where we are, the ongoing trainings and the certification, and congratulating us all for the working relationship that we enjoy with our respective organizations and companies as we work collectively and together to ensure sanity in the pesticide and agrochemical sector. So with that, I will end it. Thank you very much.
CropLife and Nigerian Agro-Input Dealers Association, through their representatives, are optimistic that a path to integrity has been created with the training.
As you have said, and we know, we've been working with NAFDAC all the years and every time, because we too, one of the aims is that we are involved in self-regulation. I'm sure you are aware that we have code of conduct, and so we think that the collaboration is very mutual, because we, in the process of self-regulation, we also will be of assistance to NAFDAC to bring the mandate, your own mandate, to pass. So, we are happy that you said this collaboration will continue.
First and foremost, we thank you a lot for the training, opportunity given us during the training, because it exposed a lot of things among the dealers. So, possibly, in fact, the correction has been done everywhere. People know that this is the right thing now, and they are improving in the how to safeguard the health of the nation through the training. So we appreciate NAFDAC of that.
We'll take a short break now. Don't go away. Dear esteemed client, this is to inform you that NAFDAC has integrated our NAFDAC Automated Product Administration and Monitoring System, NAPAMS, with the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, Tax Identification Number Database. This is to ensure validation and authentication of tax identification numbers, TIN, submitted by clients on the NAPAMS portal. As a result, all clients are advised to visit the NAPAMS portal to confirm the status of their TIN. Where it is not validated, clients are required to ensure registration of their TIN with the FIRS before the 1st of January 2023. Please note that clients without validated TIN would not be granted login access into NAPAMS from the 1st of January 2023. Please take note for compliance. Thank you. Signed, Management. NAFDAC, Customer Focused, Agency Minded. Welcome back. You're watching NAFDAC and Your Health. Our next focus is the Acting Director General's visit to Beiersdorf Nivea Consumer Products Nigeria Limited. A tour of the factory through the pre-production, production and post-production like packaging of the company's products are some of the high points of the visit, as the essence of the visit and the importance of stakeholder engagement is not lost on building confidence in the regulatory agency.
Basically, the NAFDAC management team is here
to see regulation in action, to see how we've been able to support a company move from importation, from bulk packing to full manufacture of products within Nigeria, and the impact that will have on our sector. We see growth in this sector, which has happened in less than 7 years, and we've held their hand through this process, and it is really rewarding and enriching to be able to see the impact of regulation, the quality of products that are coming out, the impact on people's lives, the jobs that are creating, the economic impact, the diversification of the sector, and the focus on products that add value within this jurisdiction and beyond. It's one thing to do local manufacture, bring in products, but it's also critical that as you grow, you look to source your materials locally, and that's the backward integration that I talk about. They have different components in their products, and shea butter was mentioned as one, and that is a sector that I'm very well aware that we play very, very actively in. Nigeria is a country that has an abundance of shea butter, and we'll be working with them to solidify that reach and connect them with those that are in that sector, where you have the women majorly playing in that sector, refining the shea butter and providing it for use in industry. Okay, so the NAFDAC is a QMS ISO 9001 certified organization, and so we're always ready to get feedback, constructive criticism to support continual improvement within our regulatory process. So we will take back those areas of concern, which is one of the reasons why we're here, to see those areas that we need to strengthen to make their activity much easier without any hindrances.
As NAFDAC continues our strategic engagement with stakeholders, some members of the management team, led by the Acting Director General, visited A&P Foods in Lagos. The leadership team of A&P Foods received the NAFDAC team and moves to the company's boardroom, where a presentation of the company's confectionery operations is highlighted. A tour of every segment of the factory also helped in understanding the operations of the company.
And one of the things that has really excited me since I even joined is the way we invested in Nigerian talent. So one of the things that we pick enough samples to give room for stability check, to give room for sample for consumer complaint, if any, and also.
At the end of the tour, the Acting Director General charges the A&P Foods management to maintain the quality control system it has put in place.
I'm pleased to see the clear demonstration of the move to local manufacture. Looking forward to a point where we will confirm that products manufactured here are exported to other African countries, because we have responsibility also for quality of export. And that with the African continental free trade should be looking to that and should actually help you. I know you were talking about Ghana and Kenya. Yes. That is something that we stand here ready to support, and I'm glad to hear Director Sam and other staff confirming that it's been a journey. Building quality is a journey, so regulatory agency we can handhold. It's not about only policing. We police when we need to police, but we want to walk with you, and I think this is a clear demonstration of what has been done over time, and you have to sustain it and maintain it.
Universal health coverage and the challenges in the supply chain of the health sector and some pertinent issues are the focus at a recent breakfast meeting in Lagos. On hand to offer insights into the drug regulatory process as it impacts the health sector of the country is the Acting Director General of NAFDAC, who highlights what the regulatory agency has been doing to create an enabling environment and support the industry.
The regulatory structure is in place. It is attested to, and we've been working together, we can all talk about that, to support them to make sure that the products that we register are of the highest standards and can compete in the international market space. That has been our remit, working with them. So it's really, really, really very satisfying to see this connect with the states, and it can only get better. But I really just wanted to comment on some of the wants, and I think Honorable Commissioner from Kaduna started it, my dear sister, and I think Dr. Filani also re-echoed some of these wants, which I will comment on very briefly. There was a mention of generic. A lot of times we tend to forget that we are supposed to focus more on the generics rather than the brands. And so the companies are here. And so my response to that is, for any products that are going into this space that you have registered as brands and you need to convert to generic, we will expedite that process. Okay? That's good. Also, there was the state-specific labeling. Now, if you're doing state-specific labeling, where the state wants brands or logos on those products that are registered, we will also expedite those for you. Dr. Aguade talked about the 5+5 ceiling. That's the ceiling list for products that we know. We know that local manufacturers can meet the need. And so we have made it such that if you have gone through 10 years, for products on that list, you must go to a local manufacturer or set up a plant. It's your choice, but you must contract manufacture, and that's what he was referring to. If there are any other products that fall within that cycle that we need to look at again, we are willing to have that discussion. Okay?
Let us also tell you that officers of the Investigation and Enforcement Directorate of the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, carried out a raid operation in the Federal Capital Territory after a tip-off by a trademark owner of a liquor product. The officers combed different spirit and wine shops in Wuse 2 Market, Wuse Market, Area 1 and Area 2, Garki, confiscating counterfeit spirit and wine product.
We received a complaint from a registered company who is a trademark owner of the product, a particular product, that there has been a counterfeit of the product, particularly within FCT and the environs. That was why we swung into action, and luckily enough we have been able to evacuate reasonable amount of those counterfeit products. The process will continue, not only in Abuja, but across the country.
The agency has been on the trail of counterfeiters all year long and not resting on its oars as the clampdown on those involved in the nefarious activity continues nationwide. Here is where we draw the curtains on this edition of the program. Join us same time, same station next week for another informative package. In the meantime, if you have comments, complaints, or you want to report activities of fake drugs or adulterated food product peddlers, our doors are always open. You can reach NAFDAC via toll-free numbers. For inquiries, call 0700 162 3322. For complaints, call 0800 162 3322. You may also email NAFDAC at nafdac.gov.ng. If you have complaints about any form of misconduct, you can reach the Reforms Unit via email reforms@nafdac.gov.ng or call the Reforms hotlines on 0909 763 0506 or 0909 763 0507. NAFDAC, customer focused, agency minded. Importing, producing, distributing and selling fake drugs and cosmetics, adulterated food, and so on are criminal activities that destroy lives. Join the fight against these heinous crimes by reporting any suspicious activity in your area to NAFDAC. Let's join hands to safeguard the health of the nation. See you next week. Stay safe.